Hello, and welcome to my Red Khans of Tarkir limited set review. Today I'm reviewing the cards as if the set is coming out for the first time today as it comes to Arena, because I haven't actually drafted it or played it. So I want to see if my card evaluation skills translate to the past. I want to see if it, like I can move through the history of Magic. Right, I don't know whether um, whether that's the case, whether I'm going to be able to do it, and whether I just completely, because people have played the set, right? People have played it. Um, People know stuff about it, but it's possible, people. The population has changed, right? Magic is a different game than it was when cons came out, and people play differently, and it's possible things are different now, right? It's possible we know more now about how the game is played, and we're going to play better decks as a result, and things are going to be different. So today I'm going to be grading the cards based on how good I think they're going to be. These are the tiers. Tier 1 is good, Tier 5 is bad. Feel free to pause and take a look at what they actually mean, but basically that's basically what it says. And we're just going to get started. Act of Treason. Good old-fashioned Act of Treason, 2 and a red for a sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until end of turn. Seen this in plenty of formats. There's not a ton of free sack outlets in this format, but if you're playing an aggressive deck, you can play it. Put it in tier 4. Yeah, it's fine. You can play it. Not so bad, not so good. Situational card, right? But in some situations, it can be okay. Anoch Tracker. 5 and a red for a 3/3 first strike. It has Morph for 4 and a red, so you can make a 5 mana 3/3 first striker, which is not. I mean, I guess it has ambush potential. Ambush potential. Yeah, ambush potential. It has potential. There's potential there. Oh, there's potential. I don't know, man. I just think there's so many moving pieces here with morph, right? Yes, it's nice to have different things you can morph, but it's awkward to be like, turn 4, I'm gonna morph. I'm gonna play a freaking 4 mana. I'm gonna go 3 mana 2/2 and then get this. I'm gonna play a 4 mana 2/2 and then I'm gonna have multiple morph options. I just don't think that's really a thing that's gonna happen that much. Maybe it's just gonna be every single game and I'm just wrong. But yeah, it's just 3 mana 2/2 is just so far away from what I want to be doing. Arc Lightning. 2 and red for a sorcery. It deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and their players. I put this in tier 1. I mean, it's sorcery speed removal, but man, this just owns. This card, look at this. This is so much flexibility on your spell. So red 3 mana deal 3 is almost a tier 2 card by itself. It's close. I mean, obviously it's sorcery speed, it's not, but the fact that you can divide this, this is just really nice. And again, all the creatures are smaller, so you can get a 3 for 1, 2 for 1 with this. It seems really good to me. And again, any excess damage you have just goes to their face, which is nice. It's just great. So I really like this card. I think it's going to be one of Red's best cards. Aerostorm. 3 red for a sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and has raid. If you attack this turn, it deals 5 damage to that creature or player, and damage can't be prevented. Yeah, I mean, the fact that this can go face, I really like. So this is a red removal spell, red mana, deal 5, 5 mana deal 4. It's not great, but again, 5 mana deal 4 face. If you're an aggressive deck, and this is at the top of your curve, you can use it to remove their creature and get in, or you can use it as the last final points of burn and kill them. Yeah, it looks good to me. I can't complain about this card. It seems honestly kind of solid. Again, double red in a 3-color set does present some issues, right? You don't really want to play too many of those, but you do want to be base 2 colors, right? In these sets, even in multicolor sets, you want a base 2-color deck usually. Ashcloud Phoenix. 2 red for a 4/1 with flying. When it dies, you return it to the battlefield face down, and it has a morph for 4 red. When it's turned face up, it deals 2 damage to each player, which includes you, by the way. So you do take 2 damage to morph it back up. But I mean, this card just seems great. I don't think you're ever casting the front side of this as a morph. I don't think that's something that you want to do. But you can just play this on 4 and like block their thing, and then you can like if you want, or you can just attack. Like it has. This is a beating. This is just an absolute beating. It does cost 6 to get it back up, but you can like it's just it doesn't have haste. Well, no, it basically does have haste because like on 6 you can like flip it back up, and then it's just these type of effects are really really annoying. And again, in slower formats, this thing is just an absolute house. It's just so much damage. Yeah, tier 1 for me. Barrage of Boulders. 2 and a red for a sorcery. It deals 1 damage to each creature you don't control. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, creatures can't block this turn. We had a Hazardous Blast in Albi-1, and that card was very good because the format was super aggressive. And so that sort of opened my eyes to the sense that, like, hey, in some decks, you can have cards like that work. And I think in some decks, you actually are going to want something like this, where it's like, hey, deal 1 to your stuff. Now, in that format, too, part of it is that Hazardous Blast was also just, like, Plague Wind. Sometimes you just, like, cast it and killed their entire board. I don't think that's going to be true in this format. There's a lot of, like, 1/5s, 1/5, like, 1/3s, 2/3s, I don't think there's as many like 1/1s, a lot like running around, but there's gonna still be some. But you basically need to have the 4-power theme enabling this, or it's not a playable card. Bloodfire Expert. 2 and a red for 3/1 with prowess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like prowess on creatures like this with low toughness. Like the high power, low toughness prowess creatures like tend to not be very good because it's much easier to block them. And just trade. So it becomes a lot. It's like it's a lot easier for opponents to just be like, yeah, I'll block and make a trade here. Whereas with like if this were like a 2/3, your opponent's like, well, I can't really block it because it's just gonna grow, and like I can't block it with my like 3/1 because it's just gonna grow and be like a 2/4, and then it's bad. Whereas this, they can block with their 3/1. Not that there really are 3/1s. 3/1s don't really exist in this format. They aren't really real. So, this seems okay. Like, I mean, by okay, I mean really bad, unplayable. So I'm just not gonna play it. Bloodfire Mentor. 2 and red for an 0/5. You can pay 2 and a blue and tap it to draw a card and then discard a card. So you may say that's like extremely slow, and you're right. It is, and it's 2 colors. But I kind of don't hate it, right? Like, I don't know. It's looting, right? It's a blocker, like a 3-mana 0/5 is gonna block reasonably. It blocks. Extends the game and then gives you like card filtering. Sure. I don't know. Kind of seems like a playable card. Bring Low. 3 and red for an instant. It deals 3 damage to target creature. If that creature had a +1/+1 counter on it, it deals 5 damage to it instead. I like this card quite a bit. There's going to be a decent amount of +1/+1 counters lying around. And 3 damage is good enough to kill a lot of things in this format. I should probably move this up to tier 3. Just because of those reasons. But it's, I mean, it is still like a 4-mana removal spell that like just removes stuff, and that's generally not very good, so I'm gonna just continue to believe that, even though maybe in the past it may have been a little bit better. Burn Away. 4 and red for an instant. It deals 6 damage to target creature. When that creature dies this turn, exile all cards from its controller's graveyard. I really like this. So this completely destroys like Delve decks, of which there are like blue and black both care about Delve. And so this card just absolutely annihilates those decks. Like they just like can't cast their spells if you cast this on their things. And it also like 6 is a lot of damage. Like this is pretty much a kill spell. It's 5 mana, deal 6, whatever, but it kills any of their things and exiles their graveyard, and there is graveyard value in this set. So I like it. I think it's fine. It's fine removal. You can play it. Totally acceptable card. Canyon Lurkers. 4 and red for a 5/2 with Morph for 3 and a red. Nope. 2 toughness. Got 2 toughness. If this were a 4/3, it would be better, but still not very good. I mean, you can do the thing where it's like I attack and then I flip and hit you for 5, and like you'll kill people that way sometimes. But I don't know. I don't think that's actually a thing that happens ever. Crater's Claws. X on red for a sorcery. It deals X damage to target creature or player. It deals X plus 2 damage if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Yeah, this is nice. Solid. It's Fireball, you know. Fireball's good in some formats. Like, flexibility is decent. The fact that it can go face again, like burning, like you can. There's just like burn. You can just play burn in this format. There's like Aerostorm in this, and it's just like I'm gonna freaking hit you for 5. I'm gonna hit you for 6. You know, burn deck, real deck, realdex.com. There's a real deck that you can burn people out with. But I think this is just a fine card. You know, it's a shock if you have a creature, you know, with power 4 or greater, sorcery speed. It's a lot of damage. It's just a lot of damage, right? Dragon Grip. 2 and a red for an enchantment. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may cast this as though it had flash. Enchant creature, and your enchanted creature gets +2/+7, has first strike. I don't hate this so much, you know. I mean, you can just play this. It's kind of garbage. I don't know. Like, it's a flash enchantment that like does give you permanent value in your combat trick if you have a power 4 or greater creature. Oh, but I don't know. It still has all those issues of getting blown out. I put it in tier 4, maybe it should just be tier 5. I'm probably not going to be picking it like it's tier 4, but it's kind of a prediction of like where I think it like actually plays out. It's not good. I don't know. Tier 4, tier 5 I sometimes like interchangeable, a little too interchangeable with. But yeah, I just don't see it really getting there. Dragon Style Twins. 3 red for a 3/3 double strike prowess. So this card is a problem. Like your opponent has to deal with this card because you play this on 5 and they're just like, I'm gonna take how much damage? I'm gonna take how much damage if I let this thing hit me? And the answer is like literally your entire life total. So I do think this is good. I think it's a solid card. You know, I mean, obviously 5 mana prowess stuff suffers from issues of like, well, I don't have any more spells to cast, so I hope I had enough card draw in my deck to make that functional. But yeah, you know, I mean, a 5 mana 3/3 double striker, it's not that bad. It's not good, but it's not that bad. So I like this card. Goblin Slide. 2 and a red for an enchantment. When you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste onto the battlefield. Haste is nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is I kind of don't hate this as like a build around-y thing. Like, how many goblins? I mean, the problem is you have to pay 1, right? You have to pay 1, and it's like a lot. But like, how many guys? No, you probably need to make like 4 goblins then for this to be acceptable. They do have haste, but then you've paid like 7 mana. You paid like 7, 8 mana to do that. That's so much mana. I didn't think about the fact that you pay more mana. It's still I wish it was like you do this once per turn, but you get it for free. You know. It's kind of where I wish this was at. I don't think it's very good, but maybe you could find like a deck that does it. Horde Ambusher. 1 red for a 2/2. When it blocks, it deals 1 damage to you. More if reveal a red card in your hand. And when it is turn face up, target creature can't block this turn. So this is just a nice little aggro, you know, 3-drop, 2-drop type deal. The joke is that you don't want to block with it. And you can play this on 3 and then immediately turn it face up. Like, you can basically morph and then immediately turn face up to make something not block this turn if you want, right? Like, you can do that. So that's a thing that you can do as well. Like, you can use it as like a trick that's like, hey, I'm gonna pay 3 mana to make your thing not block this turn, and I get left with a 2/2. It's not so bad, right? It's not so bad, but nothing like super spectacular, I don't think. Hordeling Outburst. 1 red for a sorcery. Put 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Yeah, this is real good, right? You're getting a 3/3 for 3. Obviously, it's double pip, right? That's concerning, right? It means you're not going to get it on turn 3, but I mean, when you contrast this with the white 5 mana instant that does the same thing, it's a lot better than that card, right? So I think this is good. This is a good card, and I like it, and I want it, and I think it's solid. Howl of the Horde. 2 and a red for a sorcery. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets with the copy. Raid. If you attack with a creature this turn, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell an additional time. You may choose new targets for the copy. Yeah, this type of card is never very good, and it is not going to be good in this format. It's just too situational. You can't ever. It just you need to have so much lineup for this to be an acceptable card. It just never does. Jeering Inquisitor, Instigator. Sorry. 1 and a red for a 2/1 with Morph for 2 and a red. When it's turn to face up, if it's your turn, gain control of another target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. So you've seen this in recent sets, the Act of Treason on a creature effect, and it's always really good. So I think this is going to be really good too. You just on turn 6 or something, you flip this over, and then you gain control of their 4-drop, 5-drop, and you get to attack them with it. And that's great. You just get to deal a bunch of damage. So love that. It seems really good to me. Worst case scenario, I mean, you're never going to play this on 2, right? You're just never doing that, I don't think. I mean, you could. It's a 2-mana 2/1, but it doesn't seem very good to me. Leaping Master. 1 and red for a 2/1, and you can pay 2 and a white to give it flying until end of turn. That is so much mana to give this thing flying. A 2-mana 2/1 is really bad, so no thanks. Mardu Blazebringer. 2 and a red for a 4/4. When it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. Yeah, no, I don't think I will, actually. I don't think I will. You see, I think I'm not gonna play this card. Maru Heartpiercer. 3 and a red for a 2/3 with Raid. When it enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature this turn, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Yeah, I like this. I like this card a lot. So this is like the card from Neon Dynasty, the artifact that, can do this, except it can also discard. That card is obviously a lot better than this card. However, this card was printed 10 years ago. I don't know if it's 10. What is this? Is this 2014? Yeah, 10 years ago. I don't know. This is really good, right? A lot of small creatures in the format. You can attack generally pretty well. So, I mean, this thing is just a beating, right? Just it's just a strong card that just enables you to do really good things, right? Even goes face. Worst case scenario, you just go face, and it's an extra 2 damage to the face, and that's fine. Mardu Warshrieker. Oh, I should not have put this in the same tier as the last card. That was a mistake. This was supposed to be in tier 3. Alright, the power of editing. Hold on. The power of editing. It's back in tier 3 where it's supposed to be. When it enters the battlefield, if you attack this turn, add red, white, black to your mana pool. It's a 3/3 for 4. But yeah, I mean, this is nice. It's a tempo play, right? If you attack, you play this on 4, then you get to play another 3-drop or 4-drop. Probably only another 3. You can morph something, right? It just seems good. Seems good. A good card to me. 1 mana 3/3, pretty good. It's not really what it is, but yeah. Monster of Spear. Single red mana for a 1/2 with haste and prowess. Generally it's really tough to make super aggressive decks work in these type of formats, but this card is kind of just good, it kind of does stuff, right? It just sort of does enough by itself. It's a good 1-drop. It gets in for a lot of damage early, and the fact that you have prowess is a real ability and is nice, right? So yeah, it's good. It's a good card. Sarkhan, the Dragon Speaker. 3 red for a 4 loyalty planeswalker. Has a +1 that turns it into a 4/4 dragon creature with flying, indestructible, and haste until end of turn. It can -3 to deal 4 damage to target creature, and it has a -6 to give an emblem with the beginning of your end step, draw 2 additional cards. At the beginning of your next end step, discard your hand. At the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 additional cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Weird. But again, not ever going to come up, so it's not weird. Wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, it's just good. Again, this was back in the day. You just couldn't ever answer a planeswalker even one time. So it just comes down, kills your thing, or it comes down as a 5-mana 4/4 flying haste. That deals 4 damage to you, and then it has 5 loyalty, and then it's good, right? It's a solid card. Shatter. Destroy target artifact for a single 1 in red. Nope. Too narrow. Summit Prowler. 2 red for a 4/3. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, like, this, of the vanilla creatures, this seems like it might be the best one. It has, like, enough stats that it, like, almost competes on rate for, like, 4 mana, where it's like, oh, it almost does enough. It's, like, almost there. Like, maybe you could play it and that would be okay. So, yeah. Swift Kick. 3 in a red for an instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control. What were they thinking with this one? I don't know. It's a red fight spell. Don't get it. I don't know. Was this? Have they printed another red fight spell? It's so weird. I don't know. I mean, honestly, it kind of like it's, I don't know. It's +1/+0. Like, yeah, I guess prowess. I don't know. Is what they're thinking. Maybe. Who knows? It's not very good. Tormenting Voice. 1 in red for a sorcery is additional cost to cast it, discard a card, draw 2 cards. So it's, prowess stuff running around. I think this card's fine, like playable maybe. So I have it in tier 4, but generally not an especially good card. It's a sorcery, so, I mean, it's fine, but nothing special. A playable card, but not very good. Trumpet Blast. 2 in red for an instant. Attacking creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this in, like, aggro decks, right? If you have, like, the uncommon that makes 3 goblins, and, like, this, maybe you play, like, these in, like, a deck that makes a lot of tokens and stuff, and, like, I guess that's, like, a thing you can do. So, I think there's some spots where it could come up, but generally not a super high priority card, and, you can play it sometimes. It's not so bad. Valley Dasher. 1 in red for a 2/2 with haste, and it attacks each turn if able. So yeah, I mean, this is, like, pretty bad in the mid to late game, right? Because it just runs into their, like, 3/3. I mean, not that 3/3s exist. There aren't any of those. It runs into their 2/5. Yeah, there you go. That's a real stat line in this set. It just dies. But on turn 2, like, 2 mana, 2/2 haste, pretty good. It's pretty good, right? Like, if you're all out attacking all the time, and then, like, in a set with morph on turn 3, right? Attacks into morphs on turn 3. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm underrating this a little bit. Maybe you can go all out aggressive and make this thing work. But I think in, like, average decks, it just isn't really very good, to be honest. Like, just a lack of flexibility, right? Like, you need to block sometimes, right? You need to be able to block sometimes. And the final red card, Warname Aspirate. 1 and a red for a 2/1 with the raid. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you attack with a creature this turn. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 1 or less. This is really good. This is a really good 2-drop. Because, I mean, obviously, like, you don't really want to play it on 2. But there are lots of creatures in the set that have power 1 or less. There's defenders. There's other stuff that have, like, 1 power. And, yeah, it seems solid to me. Like, it just seems like a good card. Again, like, you don't really want to play it on 2. But if you don't play it on 2, you get, like, a bigger thing. So, I don't know. Sure, I like it. I like the card. You can also just play it on 2. I think that's kind of fine. But yeah, seems decent. It seems decent enough to me. And with that, we are concluding the red portion of the set review. Hopefully you'll, enjoy it and want to see the other ones. So they're going to exist. There'll be one for all the colors and all the cards in the set. And hopefully I'll be right about some of these things and maybe, not look so bad. not look like the idiot who's like, he's doing a set review on cards that have already been played with. It's like, well, there are some risks associated with doing that, huh? But we'll see you next time.